I don't get is that why they may not go any further on the capping of prices of tickets, because the Premier League they've agreed to maintain. The Premier League clubs have agreed to maintain the current £30 cap on away tickets for the next 3 seasons. Now, Martin, that surely is good in itself. It was introduced in the 2016-17 season, and now the £30 cap is going to be reviewed in 2025, and it will have been in place for 9 seasons. But should they be doing even more than that? They're talking about a cap on away tickets. Why shouldn't they go right across the board?
Well, first of all, let's applaud what they do, and I think that's a really good thing. The costs involved for people travelling to away games, I was just comparing it with the German Bundesliga, and it is way more money to watch an English Premier League game. I believe travel as well in some parts of Germany are covered, Jim, as a part of your ticket for travelling, which would be, wouldn't that be fantastic if the government stepped in? You paid for travel when you travel to an away game to encourage people to enjoy sport. Well, it
won't be government stepping in.
Well, who's doing it for Germany then?
Well, the German clubs will be subsidising a deal with the train companies, i.e. buying tickets from the train companies.
So they do a deal with the government in some way?
Is it a government-owned state system then, or is it private-owned train companies?
You tell me. You're the...
I would imagine it's private-owned train companies, and they're doing a deal on the basis of Saturday specials.
Whoever owns it, it's a fantastic idea.
It's a good initiative.
To encourage people to go to a sporting event at the weekends in their country. Brilliant. Yeah. So to keep the price down is actually
unless,
first
of course,
class.
the railway workers on strike, then no one's going anywhere.
That's right. What are you doing this June, by the way, 23rd, 24th and 25th, because there's a major strike ahead of us. But
so what about a cap across the board?
Yeah, I mean, you could say, and I don't think Simon wouldn't enjoy this, but such is the money coming in from the Premier League for the revenue, TV revenue. Could they reduce the ticket prices for everybody at football matches, not just the away fans, for their own fans?
Yeah, sure they can. Yes, but after the players have taken their wage cuts.
Well, then it comes back to the players, doesn't it? We'd have to sit them down for a change and actually talk to them.
I mustn't laugh because I'll be accused of being disdainful again.
Yeah, but
3,800 fans.
It's a part of a wider discussion, Jim, isn't it?
3,800 fans. The average Premier League has an average Premier League game is 38,000. Obviously, Man United have 75,000, Palace have 26, but the average attendance at a Premier League game is 38,000.
Yeah.
The obligation upon a Premier League club is to give 10% to away fans. So that's 3,800 fans that are away fans that will get the £30 price cap.
Yeah.
So what do we want to do? It's a free market, and people can charge what they want, and supply and demand. Demand will peter out, or if supply is too pricey. We have football fans that demand that their football club spending money on players, on player salaries, on new training grounds, on infrastructure investment, and whatever you can think of it, right? Now, go tell me how many of these football clubs are actually making any money, because a lot of them aren't, right? So it's great, and I'm all for fans getting absolute value. But most football clubs, let's say Palace got 26,000 fans. Let's talk about 26,000 fans a game over 20 games a season, 520,000 tickets being sold at £50 a ticket. It's £26 million a year. £26 million a year is probably 16, 17% of their turnover. They start halving that to meet fans' expectations. Where's that money going to come from to be able to bridge that gap? Because it damn well is not coming out of player salaries. That ship has sailed. That genie's gone.
What about the lovely big fat TV deals that they sign?
But if you answer the question, if I ask the question, are they making money? And
which makes them the biggest powerhouse in the world.
Who?
The Premier League.
Sure, but how many clubs inside that division are actually making money? Very few. And the reasons why they're not making any money is, well, we can say that it's because they don't manage their finances well, but we can also say it's because the player salary, that train's left the station, right? So if you want to cut costs, right, you're either going to go back to the broadcaster and say, sorry, you've got to pay more money, and Sky are going to say, sod off, we're at top end of the bill, we've got too many customers being churned right now, we need to actually reduce the cost we're putting into football, or we're going to turn to the players, after the players have picked themselves off the floor laughing about pay cuts, then you go back to the same and say, well, okay, we're going to get back from the fans, we're going to have to increase tickets, not decrease.
But the clubs, though, don't they, in order to sustain and stay in that league, have got to keep paying the money, haven't they, to stay there, and they want to enjoy that, don't they? And they benefit in that as well. So of course, you know,
but if you cut
they're spending what they get in.
If you cut tickets, if they're losing money, Martin, most clubs are losing money. If they're losing money, then they can't afford to do it, and it's a double-edged sword. Of course, you want some of the prices that are being charged by some of these clubs are an absolute try-on. Your club being the worst, Arsenal, right? They charge the most ridiculous prices. It's obscene what they get away with.
So is that exploitation then?
Totally, but
you have to have a word with Arsenal about that.
There's a queue of 10 people behind the fella that doesn't want to pay it anymore. So the problem is that the demand is there. So why would you, unless you're in the business of philanthropic goodwill? I'll tell you what, I'll give you, whilst the fans will turn around and scream at you for the next £50 million footballer that you haven't bought.
I get it.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.